Hello YouTube, welcome back to Cue Balls Reef. My name is Rob. So I'm working on a sump for the budget reef tank. This is a 15-gallon. I used to have this set up. It's drilled, so I put a little plug in here. Working on a sump, but working on a budget sump. So what have we done? The tank cost me $15 because I bought it at Petco a long time ago when they were having their $1 per gallon sale. I have this little cup holder gizmo here that I bought from Fish of Hex. It is a 3D printed filter sock holder. I think it was like $5. It did have a part on here to hold on to tubing in case you wanted to do you know, siphoning of your sand bed or whatever. You could just put a tube on here and it would collect all your junk and you didn't have to worry about the tube popping out. I'm going to use it with this fancy, you know, that's too loud, so I'll just grab the other one. So these cups are $2.50 on Walmart's website. You might recognize these. You use these to hold silverware. If you go to like a buffet or a banquet or something like that, they put silverware in these. So I figured this would work if I stuff it full of bedding for a cup, a filter cup. So why not? $2.50. I know if you go online, you can buy filter cups for what, like $50, $40, something like that. They're ridiculously priced. Wrong. $2.50. I got 10 of these, and I can just swap them out whenever I want to. So put one of those in the $5 filter cup holder, filter sock holder, whatever you want to call it. You can't beat that price. As far as the baffles, this is 1/4, or maybe it's 1/8 of an inch. I'm not sure. I didn't measure it. Anyway, it's acrylic that you buy from your local hardware store. Unfortunately, right now, because of the virus of unknown origin, acrylic is pretty expensive. So this is going to be, I got a sheet of it for about $50. And I'm cutting it down to make my own baffles. I've got 2 of them siliconed in place already. And what I do to make sure that I get the right cuts the first time so I don't have to continually whack-a-mole is grab a piece of cardboard. You know, do your measurements on the inside of your aquarium, whatever you're going to use as a sump, but take a piece of cardboard, cut it to the length that you think you need, and then throw it in there and make sure it's the right size. And then you've got a template for the width of your aquarium, so you don't have to make multiple cuts on your acrylic. And then when you actually get down to it, you just take your piece of cardboard, put it on the acrylic. I have a piece sitting right here. So if I put this little template on the piece of acrylic, now I can make my measurements. That way, whatever height you want to do, you can do your own measurement to get a height. But the width is what's really important, and that's where this piece of cardboard will come in handy, because now I know exactly how wide I want this. And once I make my cut on my table saw here, it gives me the perfect fit, which you can see from these 2 baffles that I already cut out. So I think I'm going to do one more baffle down towards the end here, so the overflow will come in. The filter sock or the filter cup will catch all my detritus, and then I'm going to do just a very large refugium, Cato refugium, and just let that grow. In order to do that, I built myself this little handy dandy light here. This came off of a lid for an old 10-gallon aquarium. So I just took it off the lid and put it on a piece of aluminum. You make screen tops with this stuff. Just kind of zip tied it on there, and it fits right on top, just like so. And then when I plug it in, I'll plug it in on a simple timer, and I'll have a grow light over top of my big refugium. So that's the game plan. As far as the overflow, I gotta go to the box of parts here. There's the tank. That's my 40-gallon breeder. It's gonna sit nicely right underneath there. I'll just have to move the ATO reservoir out of the way. But that's the budget 40-gallon. So over here in my junk drawers, I just happen to have an old overflow. Or did I move it? Yes, I moved it. So this is the overflow box that will actually be in the tank. And then this, pardon the interruption. So in this part of the video, I'm discussing the eShop's hang on the back overflow, which I decided not to use. When I got this hooked up, got the plumbing installed, I just could not get this thing to be quiet. I could not get the water levels to even out. And so I just decided to scrap this idea and went with the old-fashioned way. I drilled the tank, added a regular overflow, and got rid of this monstrosity. So this idea, although it was a good one, just didn't end up working out in the end. So yeah, enjoy the rest of the video. For the silicone, I'm using the Aqueon aquarium sealant. Imagine that, they make this stuff. I got it from my local fish store. They had one left on the shelf, and I decided to pick one up because I knew I was going to be building this sump. So it's, you know, a couple bucks more expensive than the stuff that they sell at the hardware store, but at least I know this stuff works in aquariums. I know that there's all sorts of debate whether or not you can use GE or, you know, any of those silicones that are at hardware stores. So I just spend the extra money, get the stuff that I know is going to work for an aquarium. So yeah, we'll finish this baffle, and we'll get everything in place and get this sucker up and running. Alright, so we got a perfect fit. Once I get this silicone in place, that'll be it. That'll be my baffle. I'm going to drill a couple holes in here, and you know, that way water can flow through it. And yeah, perfect fit. So to cut these holes, we're just using a standard hole saw on a drill. We'll just hang on to this and let the saw do the work. Dead battery. 3 holes. That's where my water is going to flow through from one section to the next. We'll get some silicone on this and get it in place so it can cure up. And then we'll water test this sucker. Make sure that these baffles are going to hold up. So we got everything in place pretty much where I want this to go. I did leave myself a nice little section here if I ever wanted to add a small skimmer, which I don't know if I will or not. Maybe a hang on the back skimmer, which I'll definitely have room for that, but we'll see. Got about 7 inches here from the baffle to the wall. So 7 inches. I mean, you can do a lot with 7 inches.
That's what she said.
On second thought, we're going to wrap this first. Because I don't want all the light spilling over into the different sections of the tank, which will pretty much end up in hair algae everywhere. I'm going to wrap this. This is from Hobby Lobby or whatever. It's just a double-sided sticker. And I'll peel that off and wrap this with this. So while this silicone is curing, I went ahead and blacked out the other side of the baffle. So that one's blacked out, that one's blacked out. This stuff comes in handy. It's like $3 or $4 for a roll of it at Hobby Lobby or your local craft store. It comes in handy in the aquarium trade, especially for blocking out light in sumps if you're going to be growing anything. So yeah, that went on in about 30 seconds. So here we go with the finished product. I did end up putting some of that sticker stuff on the side here just to kind of block some of the light. The light that I made is working just fine. Got some Kato growing in my sump there. Got a 300 watt and a 150 watt heater. And the J-Bow pump is working just fine. Got some carbon going in there. My ATO line coming in. So things didn't go 100% according to plan. As you saw in the earlier part of the video, I ended up drilling the tank. Probably about one of the most nerve-wracking things I've ever done, because I had to drain the tank. I drained it down to probably here, about 30 gallons out, left a little bit of water behind, moved the whole stand. I just kind of pulled it out from the wall and drilled the tank. And it worked out just fine. I mean, I ended up hard plumbing it instead of soft plumbing it. My return is still soft plumbing, which I'm using this clear plumbing for now, but I'll eventually change it over probably to some black silicone so that it doesn't get algae building up, which it's already starting to do. You can see there from the light. But the return that I'm using is this eShops S just a simple drain, and yeah, it worked out just fine. I had no problems. The tank didn't crack, didn't have any problems with that. The other piece of equipment that I got is this, it's from eShops also. It's called the Cliffhanger. There's the box for that. And it basically just makes a little sock holder. I have a sock in here right now, but this does hold the cups, and I'm gonna use those cups. But my main line comes down, fills into there, and then runs out into this sock compartment. And then my emergency drain, if it ever were to overflow, just kind of drains right into that as well. But I have it up high enough so it'll make some noise. Got my handy dandy little UV going in there. The Cato's growing. All in all, I'd say this was a success. Finally got the water levels to even out so my ATO doesn't go crazy like it was. I have it set up down in here, and that is the yeah, I can't even think of what it's called. It's the ATO. The Duetto, that's what it's called. But all in all, I would say this was a success. After adding the return, after having to drill the main tank, you can see, well, maybe not with all the reflection, but there's the part that's actually in the tank. Sorry, that's really blue, but this is kind of on the fly, so. But the drain's in place, not having any noise, which is nice, because with that hang on the back filter, it was just a constant sucking, gurgling noise, and I didn't want that, so I changed it over to hard plumbing. So at the end of the day, the budget sump turned out to not be such a budget. I'll leave links for the eShops drain and for the Cliffhanger. This thing is actually pretty sweet. If you're building just a simple sump, it really is a nice sock holder, and it's super quiet, but it's not cheap. It was like 70 bucks, but yeah, this is the finished product. Figured everybody could see what ended up happening in the end. So that's it for this video. If you like what you see, feel free to hit that thumbs up. Subscribe to my channel if you so wish. I'm always looking for new subscribers, and I appreciate everybody that tunes in and watches my videos. If you have any questions, feel free to drop them in the comments section. I'll try and get links for all the products that I've got into this sump. And yeah, we'll do this again sometime. All right. Peace.